It's the last part of our preseason elk guide series, and what a series it has been. Everything from tips, best season days, conditioning to situational prep, scouting, and calling. For our final part of the series, we're going to talk about our gear, our setups, what we wear, as well as our modes of travel. And we use a sock in a way most of you never thought of. Those topics, along with our ElkBros shout-outs and questions from our ElkBros mailbox. So, my friends, pull up a chair, adjust your volumes just right, and welcome to Blue Collar Elk Hunting.
Welcome to Blue Collar Elk Hunting, brought to you by ElkBros.com, with your host, Gilbert Ornelas, and elk hunting coach, Joe Gillia. You want to hunt elk? They live to hunt elk. Their goal is to share with you what they have learned grinding it out for over 35 seasons, doing what they love. So come on into camp and set a spell. Welcome to Blue Collar Elk Hunters.
Hello there, everyone. If it's your first time with us, glad to have you. Hope you enjoy our show. And as always, for those blue collar hunters following our show and grinding it out with us every week, welcome back to Elk Camp. I'm Gilbert Ornelas, coming to you from an undisclosed area in South Louisiana. It's a beautiful Toledo Bend, I can't lie. And from Katy, Texas, and from the DFW area, that's right, we got the Venezuelan Mafia in the house. And from Cimarron are your elk hunting coaches, WWJGD, what would Joe Gillia do? And Leroy, the Ninja Chavez, is in the house. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, big ol'?
How y'all doing?
Just when you thought you had it sorted with the Venezuelan Mafia leadership, now you just got the Joe J. I can't even say it, man.
WWJGD. Yeah, man, I can get it right, brother.
You know, I want everybody to know, if you're hearing Gilbert's sound, when you see the video, this guy is in his truck in the middle of nowhere, outside of a convenience station in the middle of nowhere in southern Louisiana. It's like, this is crazy, man. I mean, this is dedication right here, Gilbert.
Yeah,
man, I'm gonna tell you what, fellas, it took me 30 minutes to try to get my computer to act right and find a signal, and I just had to keep driving. And this little spot right here, I knew from previous times that I could get a signal here, but generally I stay with my partner, my fishing partner, for 17 years, Tony Casenza. As y'all know, he passed away in January, and Tony has Wi-Fi at his house, and we're not staying there. So the place that I'm staying is about 25 miles the other direction, and it doesn't have Wi-Fi, and I couldn't get my phone to work. So I was bugging out, and Joe was trying to text me, and I'm trying to text him back. Nobody can find me, but we got it worked out. Like Joe says, where there's a will, there's a way, people.
There's a will, there's a way.
There you go.
And in fact, I'm not in Albuquerque, y'all. I am at my daughter's house, and I'm sorry, I'm not in Cimarron. I am in Albuquerque. So
Right.
we're all kind of trying to make this happen, man. So it's amazing what you can do with technology. But speaking of technology, y'all, I'm in a bit of a quandary now, man. So I just got done doing a podcast with Western Contours. If you guys haven't heard it, listeners, go out and check it out. But the thing is one of the reasons he wanted me on there is because of my setup, my style, how I hunt. I've always been instinctive.
I thought you were going to say your singing skills, man.
No, that was being recorded, dude. So
maybe his dancing skills.
But he starts out is Joe is, if it's not broken, don't fix it, shooting instinctive, blah, all that stuff. Well, a good friend of mine, a former client, Chav just picked it up for me at the house. I'm not even there. I haven't even put my hands on it yet, but didn't have any clue that this was going to happen like this. But a 2021 Hoyt Vectum RX5 showed up to my house, and my draw length and 70 pounds, and I'm like in a quandary, y'all.
So it's happening, Joe.
You got a nuclear bow.
I think it's funny how Joe and Chav have bows show up to their house and don't even know about it.
Oh man, what a great-
Nuclear bow.
Yeah, and like I keep telling people, I said I'd have never changed from double X75s or never changed anything if it wasn't for all these drug pushers, man, out there. You know. Yeah,
That's a lie, Joe. I gave you 6 arrows, and then you had. I don't think you've changed since 12 years ago. Been shooting Carbon Expresses since then.
Ever since then, man. So I'm in a little bit of a quandary right now. But I tell you what, I'm going to do what we've asked all of our grinders to do, and that is I'm going to work at it, man. This person, Pat, sent me this out of the goodness of his heart. I'm not going to let it. I'm going to try using that bow. I'm going to try doing different things. I'll try to figure it out. I don't think I'll be able to shoot at fingers. That means I'm going to have to figure out, am I going to do a release? I don't really want to go to pins, but I'll figure it out. I'm going to give it. If there's a will, there's a way. We'll figure it out. And
Joe, you can make it your hog hunting, deer hunting bow, where you come down here to Texas and come chase these wily hogs and sit up in a blind and actually shoot one that walks in, right? Yeah. So, man, how the tables have turned.
Yeah. We'll get it figured out, bro. But
Carl Damage is laughing his tail end off up in heaven.
He ain't got no room to laugh, dude. He bought that friggin' nuclear boat before he passed, man. So
he did.
I know he's smiling a little bit. Another announcement, though, is that I want to put out there that you guys, I don't know if you know that this has been in the works. It might be a little bit surprise to the crew, but we're going to start ending our show a little bit differently these days. So do you guys know who Tony Wintrip is? If you don't, Tony Wintrip is an incredible singer that sings a little bit different genre of music. Most people call it country music, but what he does is he combines his two passions, hunting and music, man. And he does, man, this guy is just a bomb, both in the studio and the mountains. This guy, is legit. This is an elk slayer, Tony is, man. And he just has so much passion that he brings that to his music in his songs as well. So COVID's been tough on entertainers. It's been really tough. And this guy is so good. And he's somebody that is absolutely blue collar. He's grinder minded. And he has all those traits that we, the Elk Bros, want to celebrate and support. And, with everything that goes on and the fact that this guy represents our incredible outdoor life and all that we cherish, we want to make sure that his voice, his message is heard out there. So I've had a lot of people. I've had you boys, man. You guys have all been so great and helped me out and stuff. And I think we need to pay some of that forward. So, we want to help as a group. We want to help Tony out. And if that means we can play his music and introduce him to everybody else, I threw together a video for him that is now on YouTube, using some of his elk footage with one of his songs. And so we're always going to, tonight and each time we're going to end our podcast after we say our closing, everybody will get a chance to hear one of Tony's songs as well. Okay. He's excited about this, man. And he loves our crew. He listens and watches, and
he needs to do one Spanish, man, for the VM hunters.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll have to work with him on that.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play his video of one of his songs, and you're going to hear it now, and then you're going to get a chance to hear it again at the end when we close out. But get a chance for everybody to see him front and center on this as well. Okay, man? So here we go. Tony Wintrip.
The seasons come and they go away. There ain't enough room to bottle it up and put the lid on tight. People say I'm crazy and I self-destruct. in September when the sun comes up, and I'm high enough and I'm strung out on a bull. So give me big racks and bloody backs, somewhere deep in the mountains, Jack. It's where I think about this pain that I love. I can smoke this thing just like a drug. I'm addicted to big racks and bloody backs. I don't get much sleep when I close my eyes. Nothing but sixes with big G5s. And main beams are long and mean and pitch stained black. Nothing better than meat sacks, white turned red. Bunch of points back behind my head. As I rock my head back and scream out, I'm on fire. So give me big racks and bloody backs. Somewhere free is where I'm at. I think about this pain that I love, and I label myself as an elk thug. I'm addicted to big racks and bloody backs. I'm addicted to big racks and bloody backs. Give me some.
Wow. How about that, man?
Great footage.
That's awesome, man. So, if for those people out there listening, if you haven't checked out Tony's music, man, you can find him at Bull Down Productions. That's real easy. BullDownProductions.com.
That's a
right?
Not name though.
Yeah.
Bull
Yeah.
Down.
Pretty killer.
Yeah, we gotta have a straight out of Elk Bros t-shirt, brother.
Yeah, isn't that cool, man? Isn't
That's
that cool?
cool.
That's way
Yeah,
cool.
he's got a straight out of Elk Camp t-shirt. We need a straight out of Elk Bros t-shirt.
You know, I've
That's
already.
old school.
Go ahead.
No, that's old school. That's straight up old school. You know, from NWA straight out of Compton back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. And I told him, man, I was like, you know, I think for Elk Bros Camp 2021, I think we might have us a Tony Wintrip theme song, man. So
Absolutely.
that'd be
That'd
awesome.
be awesome.
Yep. Okay, man. So let's rock. Let's move on from here.
Joe, you guys know what time it is.
Shout out.
Time for the Elk Bros Shout. If you're new to our show, this is just shout out to a few cities with the most listeners topping our charts this week.
And we got us a video shout out, man. Hey, everybody. This is Mr. Richard Flock. Okay, so Richard sent this in, and you know what, man? This thing just warmed my heart. Here we go, guys.
Hi, my name is Richard Flock. I'm from Springfield, Oregon. I'm up here in our wonderful forest, land of deer, elk, lakes, fishing, all that good four-season stuff. I want to give a big shout out to the Elk Bros. I want to thank you for all the outstanding work that you've done on your training course. That course is awesome. It's one of the best courses I've ever taken. And keep up the outstanding work. You guys are hilarious. I love watching you. I feel like I'm right there with you. I'm looking forward to putting all that knowledge that you've given us to work. Again, thank you and shout out.
Manano, you better get busy, dude.
Oh, it was amazing, Joe. Oh my goodness. That was
Way cool.
amazing.
That's awesome, man. Doesn't that just do your heart good? Huh?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely,
man.
man.
It touched me.
So remember, all you guys out there, if you want to be part of our special video shout outs, just get your cell phone and take a 10 to 15 second video of yourself in landscape view. This way, not Instagram view. It's so hard to get people to change that. Tell us your name, where you're from, and include a home of whatever line or something special about your hometown. Then you can send it to me either through Elk Bros Instagram or email me at joe@elkbros.com. I'll make sure you get a link to get it to me. Come on, y'all. Show your face. celebrate your place.
Man, big shout out to Mr. Flock. Thank you so much for doing that for us, man. What we do means so much to us. Just to have guys that give back like that, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much, Mr. Flock.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great feedback.
Top listening city, Gilbert. Crank her
You
out.
bet, man. We're gonna start it off with our top listening city this week. It was once the capital of West Virginia before it was moved to Charleston. This city became known as the nail capital of the world. In 1769, Ebenezer Zane claimed the land via tomahawk rights, a process to girdle ring barking a few trees near the head of a spring and mark the bark with the person's initials to claim the land. This is in Wheeling, West Virginia.
Wheeling, West Virginia.
That's what I'm going to start doing, mark the land from now on, man. Start putting my initials in all them friggin' trees out there.
Ring barking.
Yeah, so it's called ring barking, man. So
Yep.
they cut a ring, they girdle that ring around it, and then put their initials. That's how they marked the area from spot to spot. You know,
This year, New Mexico, man.
Yeah.
No, you have been leaving your mark everywhere, leaving drops. every single place, man.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think ring barking would work in every area of New Mexico or Nevada or Wyoming, man. You got to have some place with a lot of trees like West Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next up.
Hey, Manano, wait, before you get started, dude, I want you to see that you're second on the list right now, right? Okay. I want you to go down to fourth on the list, and I want you to take a look at some of those words and who took that position where you were last time.
No, I really appreciate it, Joe.
This is what happens, Joe. That's why he never grows. He's always got people babysitting him.
Well, hey, listen. I've been doing shout outs for the last, 8 weeks for beaches. It was enough.
It was enough.
Okay. This top listening city got its name from the local Catholic church that predates the origin of the town. The Corner Bar, a historical restaurant that began serving people here in 1897, served folks in this city over 123 years until they finally closed their doors in January of 2020. Top attractions in this area include the Crow Hassan Park Reserve and the Buffalo Rocky Winery. The town motto is a great place to grow. St. Michael, Minnesota.
St. Michael, Minnesota. Oh, he cranked that out. He cranked that out, man.
Yeah.
I was like, Hassan Park.
All right, up next. This city's location was a natural rendezvous for natives from the West Coast, northern Idaho, and tribes from as far away as Colorado. Soon, explorers and traders followed using the same trails, which eventually became part of the Oregon Trail. The discovery of gold brought a large variety of settlers to the area, which prospered when the railroad arrived. Joseph Alberston, founder of Alberston's Grocery Store, the Alberston's Grocery Store chain, called this town home. None other than Caldwell, Idaho.
Caldwell, Idaho. I'm fishing with Mike Albertson this week.
Really?
Yeah, he's heir to the Albertson throne.
Are you serious, man?
Wow.
You know, it was funny because when I'm reading this, there's all this incredible history, about explorers and traders and the Oregon Trail and all of that. And then I was like, Albertson, how cool is that?
See, I hunt with Beto, who fishes with Mike Albertson.
You met Mike Albertson, Luis. You met him in elk camp.
Have I?
Or at deer camp. You killed your first buck and he was there fishing.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right. I know you were talking about.
Son.
No, but I hunt with Beto, who knows Mike Albertson. Yeah,
That's right.
that's right.
This city is located along the Anderson River and is home to a similarly named Arch Abbey Monastery and home to 80 monks. The original Benedictine monks came from, here we go. You guys ready for this? Einsiedeln Abbey in Switzerland. Einsiedeln. Did you get that, Manano?
Thank you, yo. Thank you, yo. You got my back.
The city is located 55 miles east of Evansville. Among the top local attractions, aside from the Arch Abbey, our Monkey Hollow Winery. I thought they were, because there was monks there at the Arch Abbey, and then it was like our Monkey Hollow Winery and Huffman's Mill Bridge in St. Meinrad, Indiana.
Mine monkeys.
Yeah.
Saint Winery.
I was like,
A monkey winery. Wow.
My monkeys.
My monkey.
My monkeys.
I thought it was going to be a Chav, did you mess up, man? Should that have been a Monk Hollow Wine?
No, that was monkey.
Indiana guys, man. St. Miners guys, glad to have you in, man. Thanks for listening.
Okay, our last city is a suburb of Jacksonville and one of the best places to live in Florida. Located in the extreme North Atlantic coast of Florida, 20 miles inland along the St. Johns River. Its combination of top public schools, low crime rates, and owner-occupied single-family homes gives this area the look and feel of a Leave It to Beaver episode. An unusual fact is that every 11 out of 100 5-year-olds in Fruit Cove can speak Italian, and this is in Fruit Cove, Florida.
Fruit Cove, Florida. Man, look
Fruit
at
Cove, Florida in the house.
Beautiful place. So my brother-in-law lives in Jacksonville, so we've been to Fruit Cove before.
Oh, you gonna plug the pizza place or not, man?
Yeah. He's got a few Loop Pizza restaurants there, so you all go there, check them out.
So, okay, your cousin, is he Venezuelan?
He's my brother-in-law. Yes, he's Venezuelan.
Right?
Yes.
And he has a pizza place.
Yes.
What's the name of it?
Loop Pizza. He's got like 4 or 5 restaurants right now.
Awesome, man.
How many Italians does he hire, man?
No, Neil, we're better off without him. Just kidding, man. You got to remember, my great grandfather was Italian.
No.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. Yeah. Fruit Cove, Florida, man. We went all over the U.S., man. We were in West Virginia, Minnesota, Idaho, Indiana, and Florida.
Wow, pretty cool.
Hats off. Thank you guys, man, for our listeners. All right, guys, tonight, part 9. This is the last segment of our ElkBros Preseason Series. Remember, the goal of the series has been to give you guys our tips, our perspectives on how we do it, how we do things to get things rolling in the right direction for you and to help you have a plan. Man, guys, look at what we've done so far in this series, what we've covered. We've done preseason tips and focuses, best week to hunt elk, increased conditioning for opportunities. We've done situational prep. We've done scenario training, mindset, learning to paint with your elk calling. Last week was elk scouting, focus, goals, and realities. And we keep getting all these emails with tons of questions about our gear, our clothes, our setups, and stuff like that. And I've never been a real gear-minded person, and I know how important it is. And I know why people, especially guys that are coming out west for the first time, Luis, how much has your gear stuff changed since, you first started elk hunting? So I know it's important. It's just I really think that we're going to help with the gear, but guys, man, just keep learning. Just keep learning more about the animal, more about woodsmanship, do that stuff, and get the gear that you can get. And you're going to see my gear tonight. So and guys, when we talk about our gear tonight, I don't want to just go, this is what we use. there's a thought process behind what we use and why we use it, and some of it's got some years of stuff behind it. And if we can kind of give why we do the things we do, what its purpose is, and why it even is willing to carry that weight in our pack or in our pockets or on our body. So that's something to keep in mind how we do it. So tonight, y'all, we're going to share the gear and the setups of the ElkBros crew. This is how we roll.
and one of the things I was wanting to comment, Joe, it is also very dependent of the type of hunting that you do.
Sure.
Right? I mean, in most of the stuff that we're going to be sharing tonight is for the type of hunting we do.
So explain that. What do you mean by that?
From a base camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So we have a base camp. We sometimes break our daily hunts into 2 hunts. So that, minimizes what we can carry in our packs. Sometimes we do decide to spend the whole day out there. So, what we pack is a little different. And so you kind of have to go through the thought process of, okay, how long am I going to be in the woods? What are the potential situations that I'm going to face? And in case of an emergency, then what should I have? But it may be different. And also it may be different of what you're hunting and what kind of type method of harvesting you're using. If you're using a bow, your pack may look slightly different than if you're hunting with the rifle. There are a lot of things that are going to be similar, but there are also going to be some differences. So
right.
It all depends.
I totally agree with you, man, because if I am backpacking into the backcountry for 7-8 days, my pack's going to look totally different.
Absolutely.
Totally different than what we do. Because y'all, man, if you know us, we do not, we're not backcountry packing. Do we have gear so that if we need to stay out overnight for the next day?
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that, depending again on what the
weather
conditions, I mean, if we end up with snow hitting the ground, we ain't staying out, man. We go back to camp, man. So,
we do a real good job of watching the weather too on a daily basis, and knowing what's coming.
Yeah. And so sometimes we don't have the means to get a good signal to see the weather, but these Zoleo device that we use has a little bit of a weather report as well that you can pull in.
And we have evolved too. I mean, we have evolved as technology has evolved, as costs have evolved, as we as a group have evolved. So what you guys are going to see tonight is years and years of evolution. Chav, I mean, think about when we first started this whole thing as compared to, I mean, there's a lot of things that we still have similar in our pack, but there's some things that are way different looking now, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Big evolution, especially in the technology area.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And I mean, where I can remember carrying big flashlights. Flashlights were like daggum 2 pounds
with them fat batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was to the point where, you didn't want to carry a daggum flashlight. And one time, Chav and I, it would happen. We're actually deer hunting, and we get caught. I don't know how far we were from the vehicle, Chav. Were we probably 2 miles?
Oh, was that up a Sugar Eat?
Yeah, absolutely.
That one time. Yeah, we were at least 2 miles from the truck, and it got dark, and we didn't have any kind of light. And it was a dark night, no stars, nothing.
It was.
You could do this, and you couldn't see your hand. It was that dark.
Yeah, I mean, it was like cave dark. You guys ever been in a cave before?
Yeah, look, I feel that way just in a little darkness right now. My eyes are, this last couple of years, my eyes suck in the dark, man. Yeah. So that's why I carry a flashlight about that big that will light up the world.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 1 million candle power. I mean, it's crazy.
Yep.
I hit this thing and it goes, boo, when I turn it on. It is super duper bright. And it's a halo. You can get it anywhere, but it's light, it's aluminum. But you put it in your pack and it'll run for a long time.
What about the battery?
Yeah, it's rechargeable. Got a rechargeable battery, or you can run two 3 AA's in it.
3 double A.
Yeah, I think that's a AAA, isn't it? Is it a double A or is it AAA in there?
So there's a carrier for it that you can run AAAs in, but I run the rechargeable.
Okay. Yeah, awesome, man. So Gilbert, what we're going to do is, guys, we're going to talk about our packs, what we carry in it, and we're going to show 2 pack dumps. Gilbert and I both have a pack dump so that we can kind of show you some of the stuff that we carry. Our other guys didn't do a pack dump, but they're going to I want them to add in, something that they might carry differently, why they carry it, what they don't carry. Manano, I think, goes with a bottle of water and a knife. I think that's what he carries.
No, there's a minimum requirement for me, and that goes.
Yeah,
to
your minimum requirements to have me on your 6
safety.
cover for you.
That's the most important part. I mean, I always either I'm hunting and 1 day or 2 days, I'm hunting always with the minimum requirement for safety.
Which is
Water,
the leader of the Venezuelan Mafia that provides everything he needs.
a hammock, some sort of a food or trail meat.
Wait. I just heard minimum requirements for safety, and then I heard hammock.
Hammock, yeah.
Yeah, that's a safety. Yeah.
I know these boys have hammocks because I woke up from a sound nap and a long way from camp. And when I look up, they're in hammocks. I'm sleeping on the damn ground. And
That's
they're in
safety.
hammocks. I almost came with my knife and cut the ropes down.
That's a lot of hate, Beto, bro.
Yeah, man. I don't do rattlesnake. I like hammocks.
Hey, I'm just jealous that I ain't got one.
The last time I was in Texas with Gilbert, man, there was a snake crawling through the tree. So, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, Beto, you're 350 pounds, man. There's no hammock for you, man.
Oh, man, that's gold, Manano.
Oh, man, that's gonna be,
brother.
Yeah.
I know they make. I've sat in your hammock.
There goes the leadership of the Venezuelan Mafia right there.
Well, yeah, you've been killing me with the leadership and stuff. It's time to get some fire back to him.
I got you. It's all good.
Hey, Gilbert, you can use mine, bro. I'll sleep on the ground, man. You can use mine. I got you back.
You put me on elk, brother. I'll sleep on the ground every day to give. Those got up my pack dump right here that's on the screen. And
tell us a little bit about your stuff here.
Yeah, look, guys, y'all can tell I carry the towel I put in the bottom of my pack for 2 reasons. When you kill an elk, it gets a little messy. I don't carry the big palpating gloves and stuff like that because most of the time we do the gutless method, right? So we're not getting all the way up in there. I don't have the palpating gloves, but you can see my cleaning kit. I've got some gloves, and then I carry wet wipes, which are baby wipes, which make things clean up a lot easier on your hands if you get stuff on your hands. And then you see my bathroom kit down there. That's ElkBros certified right there.
Say it, Beto.
Yeah. So it has everything the ElkBros talk about.
What do you have right there, Beto?
Nature calls.
You have to be.
When nature calls, you have to have what you need, right? And look, guys, toilet paper is great, but when you can use baby wipes, it's King's X, brother. I mean, that's the best stuff in the world, right?
100%.
So there is.
Where's the name?
Transformations, man. That's like there's, we never. That baby like that.
What's the name, Beto, please?
Oh, look, Brendan knows, man. Brendan knows. Big Black brought it out. Y'all have heard me talk the story about the man pond. It's in there. It's in every kit. If you need it, you get some leakage going on. Nobody wants to have that leakage going on when you're hiking in the woods. It causes chafing. And I'm telling you straight up, if you've never used one, you ain't lived yet. Because I'm telling you,
may need to change a gasket, bro.
Hey, my gasket's 50 years old, son. You're still like in your 30s, right? So
I'm not buying it, man.
Man
I'm
pond.
knocking on 60 here, man, and I don't need it now.
Come on, Joe.
Pause.
You're saying your gasket don't leak?
My gasket don't leak, bro, man.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Go check it out, man. The grunt tube, I'll start from right to left. We got the grunt tube there. I mean, that's where the magic happens. We make all our elk sounds out of that. You can see right to the left of it above there. All of my calls are there, whether, I use Primos and I use Amp and I use several different ones. I like using some to use. That one right there is a bone collector call right there. It's a little squeeze call you put in your mouth, bite down on it, and it makes a really good cow sound and calf sound. I like it a lot. And then that's a whistle and a light that strobes. So it's more in my pack for safety in case somebody gets hurt. It's got a strobe light in it, and then it's got a really, really loud whistle. Down there are all my diaphragm calls, and then you go further down. I've got 2 bottles of water. Generally, they're in my Camelback, but a lot of times I don't like filling my Camelback because it gets cumbersome. So I just take the two water bottles. Generally, like Luis said, we're coming out of base camp. We're out for a morning hunt, out for an evening hunt. 2 bottles of water usually carries me over. And then you can see my radio down there. I do have a radio. A lot of times the guys and I, we try to use the radios if we can. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. But I carry one and a lot of times we'll have a set time that we're going to get on that radio and talk, right? Or let each other know what's going on. Now we have the Zolios, so the phones can work with text. So it's been really cool to have that tool. I mean, you go towards the bottom, you see my outdoor edge knife. That's the knife for the ElkBros. I mean, that's what we use as outdoor edge equipment. You can actually see I have 2 knives in my pack. I have the outdoor edge one on the bottom, and then I have the gut hook one and the other older outdoor edge knife up on top. And they're very sharp, and we use them religiously on our cleaning. You can see I have a couple pairs of gloves there for hunting. If it's going to be, I'm going to be riding on my bike. I have a mule that we ride a lot of times, or a 4-wheeler, and I like to keep my hands warm, so I use them most of the time. And then sometimes while I'm hunting, it's super cold, and I'll keep those gloves on. They're thin and they're real quiet. And then you see I got a big battery pack just above that. That's for our electronics, so I carry that. It's real lightweight, but man, it'll charge your phone about 5 times on one.
What does that weigh, Gilbert? What does that weigh?
I bet it don't weigh 6 or 8 ounces.
And
it's really not that heavy.
You know what brand
it's called a Poseidon. Do what?
Do you know what brand that is?
It's a Poseidon.
Poseidon. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And it's awesome. It has an actual strobe light on it and a flashlight on it. And then, like I said, it charged my phone for 5 days up there in the mountains, and I never ran out of juice with it.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
What's above here?
That is a Make a the Bull Crazy call.
Oh, okay. All right.
From Primos.
Okay.
When they're fired up and kind of got some whining cow sounds, and you got a bull that that's kind of hung up, a lot of times that little estrus call will really make them come to you. So I keep it in my pack, readily available on my sides. There we go. Chav's got one too, right there. He's showing it up there. And then you can see my cord for my phone or whatever, my GPS that I keep on me. Our phones now are probably good where I can lay that out, but I always want to back up just in case something happens, you break your phone or whatever. At least I've got a GPS with me. And then you see that's an extra release. It's the same Silverhorn Scott release that I use when I'm shooting, but I keep an extra one in my pack in case I forget one at camp or whatever it may be. I keep an extra release in my pack, and there's a bungee cord in case I need to strap something to my pack. And the pack that I run is a Badlands.
Diablo.
I'm trying to do what?
Diablo 2.
Diablo 2. That's right.
Yeah.
Best pack I've ever owned in my life. I got a 10 zig fanny pack that I like, but I can't put as much stuff in it. As you see, there's a Gore-Tex sack up there, and it is a very, very light Gore-Tex parka and pants that are inside it.
Rain parka, right?
Rain parka, yeah. And it's MT50 Cabela's. So that's the rain parka that I have, and light pants that I have in there. So I carry all that in my pack. My pack weighs about 8.5 pounds when I'm done with it.
You know, something that I wanted to bring up here.
My flashlight.
Oh, and then your LED flashlight, right? And that's technology that has come a long, long way, man. You know, I mean, flashlights, the way they are now, how strong they are, how they reach out for as lightweight as they are is pretty incredible. But I think the point I wanted to make is that if you listen to Gilbert, what he's talking about here, what he has going on is redundancy. You know, he's got backups for things. He's got a GPS to back up if something happens with his phone. You know, he's got a battery pack that's going to work out there. You know, he's got a backup release if something happens with his original release. He has 2 bottles of water. And look, let me tell you about water, man. You can take as much water as you want because the pack gets lighter as you drink it. So, you know, water and food, you should never skimp on because you're going to get rid of it, man. That pack, as you get more tired, that pack's going to get more light. Right.
Yeah, and I do have more. I do have more that go in that pack. My little pack of food that I may have, it'll be small, be some granola and maybe Power Bar or something like that. And then I don't have what I don't have in there, and it's at my hunting camp is my my headlamp. So I always carry a headlamp with me, and I didn't have my headlamp at home. It's up at the hunting camp. So I have a headlamp in there with me as well as my flashlight.
Yeah, and that's the Outdoor Edge Razor light there. And like I said, this is an earlier model with the gut hook, and now they have a Razor Bone that has a gut hook that, Luis, you've used that is just phenomenal, man. That's
yeah, it is solid, man. It's a dream to use. So good.
I want to tell you something about water bottles, why I got away from water bottles, but now they've gotten so flimsy you can kind of do it.
Yeah.
But
the sound.
Oh my gosh, man. So I'm a sound freak, right? And walking through the woods, if that bottle gets just right in your pack, it's like gugunk, gugunk, you know, as it moves back and forth. But a lot of these, after you drink, you just squeeze them till the water gets to the top and you seal it up and and you
because I'll tell you what, the Camelbacks do that too. And if you don't initially
do that, if you take the air out of them.
Correct. So that's what I was going to say. You need to make sure that you take the air completely out when you turn it around and get the air completely out before leaving camp, and then keep that seal. Meaning, I tell you one thing that happened to me was that when I finished drinking, there will be fluid left in the little cord and the hose. And then that fluid, it would actually warm up during the day.
Right.
And then when I would drink, it would be all just warm, nasty fluid. It would just taste horrible because it would be all warm. So I was like, okay, I got a solution for this. After I drink, I'm just going to blow up on it a little bit and make sure you just kind of put that fluid back. But then by doing that, I took I put air in my back, and then it was just making that glunk sound again. So I was like, man, it's easier just to drink it and spit it and then just keep drinking, but keep that seal with airtight, or I guess vacuum seal.
And that's coming from an engineer. Wow.
And that's why I'm explaining it to you, so you don't make that same mistake.
So we're going to go to my pack dump now. And what I want you guys to do is, if you guys, like, when we get with my pack dump, if you have something different, and then we'll talk about your pack, things that you don't include, things that you do include, then you can kind of throw that in there. But I use a Badlands day pack. It's kind of like my bow. I've used that. God, Chav, how many years ago did we buy those Backland day packs, man? It's like,
It's been a while, and they're still really good shape.
Yeah, and the one thing I like about Badlands is that anything goes wrong with the zipper, you send it to them, they fix it, and I mean they have that kind of guarantee on them, and the reason I always came back to this pack, and Badlands has gotten away from this, but on the side belt, they have these large, I call them groove pockets. They're like they're large angle bellow pockets on the side that you can actually leave open. They're kind of padded inside, and you can drop stuff in it and get stuff out of it real quiet, and they're deep pockets so things don't fall out. If I'm going to sit down or anything like that, I like to zip those up so I don't lose any gear. But it really, when you look at this, Luis asked me, what'd you ask me earlier? You're like,
I was like, man, Joe, come on, really? You don't put all that stuff in that pack. Come on.
Yep, absolutely, man. And actually, I don't have all that stuff in my pack, and I'll explain that as we kind of
have some in your pockets and stuff.
So you'll see the grunt tube. That's a Hunter Specialties Mega Grunt Tube. I don't even know that they're, if you're going to get one of these, you better get them, because I think production may have stopped on them. You're not able to tell from the camouflage, but they're ribbed and they're flexible. It's a flex tube. That's the kind of tube that we like to use. 3, you can't see it because it's flat underneath of everything, all that gear there, but I use a rain poncho. I don't like breeches. I don't like top. I want something that I can put on quick, because our storms in New Mexico, you can be in good conditions and all of a sudden a storm come in and it just dump on you for 5 minutes and it's gone. Or it could dump on you for 15 minutes and it's gone. We don't get those rains like over on the West Coast, like Oregon and Washington, that it just rains for what? Somebody told me they only get one rainstorm a year. It's from like September till December, so we don't get that kind. It doesn't rain sideways like that, but I like a poncho because I want it to go over all. I just sit down, I put it over top of all my gear, my bow's underneath of it, everything stays dry. Sometimes we've used it as a shelter to get underneath, me and the guys there to do that. So it straps on the bottom of my pack. It doesn't even go inside my pack. That way, if it's wet, it's not going inside my pack and getting everything in my pack wet. So I kind of roll it up just like a bedroll, that you used to see on the back of a saddle with the cowboys. I roll it up just like that. And you've got those, you got those 2 straps on the bottom of your pack that most people have, and it just goes right there and it just packs it right to the pack. So again, I'm not getting everything wet. I do have a pair of binos that I carry. I have a pair of 8x20 Leica compacts. And I'll tell you this, you guys have heard me say that, Chav and I, we've always been kind of real budget minded. As I go through this, you see a pair of Leicas like that and you're like, well, man, that's not budget binos. I've had those binos for over 20 years, and they were a gift from a best friend of mine that gave RC gave me those Leicas over 20 years ago. And RC felt sorry for me and gifted me a pair of binos, and they go with me on every hunt. But they're in that side pocket where I can reach for them. They're not around my neck. I do not like any kind of bino chest case at all when I hunt. Now, when I guide,
I feel like it gets in the way of your draw.
Yeah.
I watch so many people. Look, if you work with it and you practice with it, it doesn't. I mean, you can do that. Is there a chance it could? If you're using a release, it shouldn't. With the finger shooter, it might. It just depends on your form. But let me tell you why I don't. Is that we dress in layers. And one of the important thing about layers is as soon as you start to feel yourself start to overheat, you need to stop. You need to pull stuff off, roll it up, either put it in your pack, on your pack, so that you don't get all sweated up. Man, I hate to be hot and sweaty and wet, because then, you can end up cooling off too much, get cold if you get real wet like that, and it just adds to your odor problem out there as well. So if I'm wearing one of those chest packs, there's no way that I'm going to be stopping and then unsnap, take it off, and do all that stuff to get. It just takes too long. And right now, the way my system is, if I'm chasing an animal, and you guys have seen it, we've been on animals and we're going up a hill, and man, I'll hear an animal, I'll get down to my knee, boom, boom, I peel off, I wrap, it's on my pack, pack's on, and I'm back off again. So, you know, or if I need to put something on, it makes it easier to layer that way. And I'm not speaking against those. I just don't prefer them. I'd rather have pockets on the side, you know, for something like that. And I have no need for big binos. Now, when I guide and I'm rifle hunting, I wear a chest pack, but you know, it's generally October, November when it's real cold, and it's a whole lot different situation. I always carry, and you look at it, I have, if you look at number 5 there, that's just a small, tiny Leatherman, and I have an emergency whistle. And let me tell you, I can whistle so daggum loud that whistle's not for me. But if I end up with a partner or somebody that gets injured and I got to go for help, that stays with them so that we can find them when we come back if we're doing something, because sometimes it's hard to hear people when they're yelling and stuff in the woods if there's a little bit of wind. So that's just an emergency high-pitched whistle that I keep for emergency situations. It's extremely lightweight. You don't even know that you have it in the pack on there. And the Leatherman for all kinds of stuff that we use it, but it's a real small one, doesn't weigh anything. And here's a big one, guys, because a lot of people ask us all the time, like, you know, aren't you guys worried about, you know, what do you do when you get out there 2 hours before daylight, or you're out 2 hours after after dark? You'll see in my pack, man, that I have basically 4 different lights in a way. So I have my headlamp, and then I have 2 LED flashlights. I have a backup. I'm redundant.
Yeah,
I do redundancy. And then this other thing.
Mine, Joe, it was in my door.
Oh yeah,
It's in my truck door.
You know, that happens. Headlamps, man, are something that you use all the time, man, for all over the place. But this last one here, this is an extremely lightweight flasher. And so I can hang that in a tree and it'll flash a red light for hours. And you know, again, when we hunt in the afternoon and you get an animal down, and let's say that you've got people that are coming to you, or you have to go to a vehicle, get stuff, and come back to the animal, it is so much easier, you know, to hang that flashing in a tree so that you can see that at a distance to get there instead of roaming around trying to figure out where in the heck you got animals. So that's something that
is it disposable, Joe? Is it or is it reusable?
It's reusable.
What is it called?
I'd have to look at it real quick. All my stuff is in Cimarron. I'm in Albuquerque.
We should have used that one when we were trying to pack Manano's elk last year.
Yeah, but I don't think we had any trouble with that, did we?
I was there, Joe.
Yeah,
he was with me.
So
I was the one carrying the meat up and down the hill. Yes, I did have trouble. I couldn't see where the crap.
I see something else in your pack that's never in my pack. It's always on my person, but it was in my door pocket right here. I tell you, I mean, it's in my truck, a wind snuffer bottle. You have one in your pack too, but I know you keep one on your person as well. That's probably an extra that's in your pack.
So I keep one in my pack and I keep one in my pocket. In fact, that's one thing that we're going to talk about here. There's some of this stuff that doesn't even make it into my pack. Like, you know, when Luis says, you know, about this stuff, well, you take a look.
My rangefinder don't go in my pack.
Yeah. I mean, these lightweight flashlights, those LEDs on my outside of, I have on the outside of my bellows, there's little slip pockets that those go in on the outside of the pack. You know, my knife goes in a slip pocket there. My blades are inside special pocket inside my pack, inside there. And I have this lightweight saw as well. And man, I tell you what, I've used that for all kinds. I mean, on an elk, if I end up having to go inside an animal, or if I just need to take off leg bones, or I've used it for cutting trees, setting up little blinds, doing stuff like that as well. It comes in, when you're guiding, man, and if you've been out hunting as much as I do, and sometimes I do end up out overnight, something like that can become invaluable. So I have 4 different types of lights. I got those 2 form factors, the LCDs, I got a flasher, and I got a headlamp. One thing is I'm always covered as far as the light goes. And then I have marking tape. I always keep some tape. For daylight, the same reason I keep the flashing light, just to hang so that it's easier to find the animal. And I keep a compass in my pocket on my left side all the time, because I am constantly, as I'm moving through the woods, I'm always checking behind me to look. I'm always looking at my compass to see what direction I'm going. And a lot of times if I hear an elk, and here's a little tip for you. If I hear an elk and I hear the bugle, I immediately look in that direction and I look at my compass in that direction. Now, when I start going, because it is so easy when you're having to go around rocks, trees, different things to get off in the wrong direction from where you heard that animal. And next thing you know, you're thinking, oh, he really moved. And he didn't move. You just went way too much to the left or way too much to the right. So I use that compass a lot of times. And here's another thing. If you don't have a compass, before you take off, look at the shadows on the ground from the sun on the trees, if you have any shadows, and always keep them the same. Or look at where the sun is. Is it up on your, is it on the front quarter of you? Is it directly on your shoulder? Is it directly overhead in front of you? And use that to line yourself up to go to the animal as well. So that's just little tricks that I use there. I also, number 8, I use the Outdoor Edge razor light. You can generally, like when the Manano and Luis first showed up to elk camp, and they still carry them because these guys, that's their Venezuelan, they're like machetes, they're knives, man. They're like,
steel force knives.
Yeah, they're big
like Rambo knife, man.
Yeah, but they're lightweight.
We're evolving from those with outdoor edge knives.
It's just additional weight, big size, something like that. But a big knife is hard to work. If you do end up having to go inside an animal, it's real hard to work inside an animal with a big knife. You could cut yourself up doing that. So these guys can tear up a pig with them, though, let me tell you. Right? Am I right?
Yeah, you need some heavy duty stuff when you mess with them pigs. But look, that outdoor edge knife has changed the game how we handle
it. It's a game changer.
Yeah. It is definitely way better.
And guys, it is the official knife of the ElkBros, but
it is.
And I'll tell you,
it wouldn't be if we didn't like it.
Yeah, absolutely wouldn't. And I bought each one of you one for Christmas before we even got involved.
Yes, sir. You did.
I loved them. Game bags. I have some game bags in there. They're real lightweight. Sometimes I'll even take them out and put them in lay them flat on the same compartment as my hydration system. And that's what you see right there. Like my hydration system goes right next to my back. It's its own little special compartment. And in that compartment, I keep everything I want to be flat in there. So if I need to put flat game bags inside there to, so I don't take up so much space, I'll put a contractor plastic bag in there, and I'll put my extra Ziplocs in there, and I'll put, you can see this number 16, this waterproof thing with my tag inside of it. And it even has a lighter and just small fire starter stuff inside of there. And that will go in that flat area too. Now, here's something that I never, ever carried in my life. And this was a gift. Number 10 was a gift from Manano a couple of years ago. And, it changed my life. I mean, this guy was, every time we stopped someplace, I'd look over, and in seconds, he has strapped up a hammock, and he's laying in it and cracking out, man.
That's it's not an emergency item. It's a necessary item.
Necessary comfort.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Well, I don't know how many people have ever.
Hammock is nice.
I don't know how many people have ever slept in a hammock, but I always thought, look at the size of it in Luis's hand right there. I always thought, and it's I don't know how many ounces it weighs. It's incredibly lightweight.
It's
and
really, really
unbelievable
light.
how strong it is. Because I'm 220 pounds myself, and I mean, and I always thought that when you slept in a hammock, it was always butt down, head up, legs up. It was just awkward. I never, until I met Manano and Luis, I never knew that you could change you sleep across on it, and you're actually laying perfectly flat. It's
flat. It's just flat, but you have to cross.
Yeah. So, you don't have to lay in it the way it looks. You kind of lay crosswise in it and you end up flat in that. And it's great to be off the ground, especially if the ground's damp or wet. I've been
rattlesnake around on water moccasins. And
dude, we're in the mountains, so I don't worry about moccasins. Have we ever seen a rattlesnake up in the mountains, Chav, yet?
No, but I have
only seen one.
What's that?
I said I've only seen one, and that was just hiking, in our backyard. We're up.
Yeah.
Only time, but never where we hunt. I've never seen one.
Yeah, I've never seen one hunt.
I always bump into freaking snakes everywhere I go. New Mexico, I've seen 3 or 4. Not rattlesnakes, but seen snakes, and I just don't like them. I don't discriminate. I hit them all.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know. He saw like a garter snake, and it was like, it's a snake.
Yeah. If I can identify it and know it's not poisonous, man, I don't have no problem with them. I'll handle them, but I don't like poisonous snakes.
And I'll tell you, I don't know if it's just me or how I do, but my hydration system generally is only filled up about halfway. And it has, what I like about it too, is I have an insulator on the outside of it. And so it kind of keeps the water from getting too hot or too cold inside there. And I don't drink a whole lot. I don't know if it's because I'm accustomed or I don't sweat as much or whatever happens, but I drink when I'm thirsty. But I don't need to drink a whole lot of water while I'm out there. I do not recommend that to guys coming out here, though. If you've never been out here, one of the things that's going to cause you to have high altitude sickness or headaches is lack of hydration.
Yep.
And so I carry extra batteries in a Ziploc. I love Ziplocs. I have to have glasses in case I have to work on something close. That's happened ever since I turned 50. My diaphragm calls, I usually carry about 6 to 8. I use the Phelps Amp Black, Gray, Maverick, the Pitch Black. I have a couple of Corey Jacobsons. I like the All-Star. I like the Contender, especially for cow calling. So I use, and when you hear us talk about calling, I like to use different diaphragms for different things. If I'm going to be in real quiet, if it's real quiet and early, I'm using a real soft latex and I'm talking sweet. If it's a little bit later in the day or it's getting wind when I have to crank calls out there a little bit louder, I want a little bit thicker latex when I'm doing that because my sound has got to carry a little bit more. So there's different purposes. Plus, if it kind of depends if the animals are being cow oriented or if they're being bull oriented, and you're going to find all that out. So if I'm screaming on a diaphragm all day long, throwing bugles out, I got to have something with a thicker latex or I'm just going to start blowing it out. So that's something that I do with those. I know what each and every one of my diaphragm calls do with certain calls because I'm working them all the time or I'm breaking them in so that I know what they look like all the time. Dry sack with license and tags, that's real important. I don't have to worry about that. I used to just use a Ziploc, but family gives you things for Christmas, and they gave me this little dry thing in there. So I recognize it's got blue on it, and it just helps me organize stuff. So, and again, that's some of those things that have evolved, man, because our tag used to always just go in our wallet and our pack, and and until you've fallen in a river with your pack, that's not very cool. But here's a big game changer for us that we used last year. In fact, Luis actually introduced me to this, and he had one, I had one. We split it up between our 2 hunting groups out there. this year, but that's that Zoleo satellite communication device. And let me tell you, you guys, what did you think of the Zoleo?
Unbelievable. Really, really good.
The way that we were able to communicate and text each other where we had no data whatsoever. In fact, we were in a situation where we had Luis's animal went onto private property, and we ended up having to text the whole time.
The landowner.
Yeah, the landowner, to be able to get permission to get in there. So it was really critical in that situation. Wind checker, always keep an extra one. The game changer call, you guys see that down there by number 15. That game changer is, and I have never figured out whether to call it a call, a grunt tube, a diffuser. I mean, so basically, it is like a miniature grunt tube. In other words, you have to use a diaphragm call with it, and you're going to call into it. What was so cool about that is inside it has these baffles, these latex baffles that are built into it. And if you call from the small end to the big end, it makes your noise louder. So it acts just like a grunt tube, but it's a miniature footprint, man. It's just a small form factor that, and the reason I keep it is because one time I was hunting with the bros there, and I don't know what happened. I think one of them threw my grunt tube off the four-wheeler back at camp, so I couldn't find it. And I think they threw my calls out too. You got to watch these guys, man. They're something else, man. And then I think Luis did it because, he's like, wanted to see me use one of his used diaphragms, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So anyway, since then I've made
that's the only reason why you were able to call that bull for me. Had to use my diaphragm.
So in case that happens, if it ever happens, now I have not, knock on wood, I have not lost a grunt tube in a long, long time. But I will attribute that to having Manano.
Oh man!
I don't know, Chav,
and you knock on wood so seriously too, like yes. Jeez, shameless, man.
Have you had to pick up my grunt tube for me after I've left, or?
A couple of times.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
But it's amazing that you've been able to go back and actually find it, even though it's camouflaged. So.
Brandon picked mine up for me a couple of times this year. I don't know, we were in a little set, and then we had to make a move or something. I left it on the ground, and he's like, "Here it is, right here, man." I'm like,
I'm always picking stuff up for Joe and Manano. Manano left his hat with his GoPro behind.
Well,
he would have gone back. He was going.
Yeah, sure.
There is a bear that ate my hat up by my kill because it was no longer there, and the only thing that had been there was that dadgum bear. So he ate my hat.
So if you use our system of carrying a grunt tube, you will never lose a grunt tube in action. In other words, if you wear it around you and you're calling with it, it's always going to be moved so that it's on you. So in action, on a set, working a bull, you'll never lose it that way. When you lose a grunt tube, the way we do it is when you stop, you lay down to take a nap, or you sit down to eat, or you're cleaning an animal, you're working a bull. That is the best time. And here's what I tell people to do is something that I kind of practice as we go is when you get up to leave someplace, you go through what we call the post pat down.
Yeah.
It's like, where everything should be. It's like binos, grunt tube, pack, check you just kind of do that pat down to make sure that you have everything in the place where it's supposed to be so that you don't forget it. But that's generally when mine ends up getting left, and I start running my mouth and I forget things and get up to leave. These guys they'll like snag it off the ground too, so I don't see it. I've got
no, not true, not true. That is a blatant lie right there.
So the reason I carry the Game Changer is, and there's two reasons, is one, if I ever do lose my grunt tube, I still am able to call elk. And secondly, if I'm in a situation where I really need to make it sound like I'm farther away than what I am, if you take that Game Changer and you turn it backwards and you blow from the big end into the small one, it diffuses the call to make it sound like it's further away. And that's something I really appreciate about it as far as that goes. So my glove sets, my glove sets are in my pockets. They're not even in my pack. And what you see there is I got my thin gloves. Those are usually on me. My fleece gloves are generally in my pack. And those fleece gloves have a place for the fingers to go through it. So I'm able to use my hands like regular, and it's just enough to keep wind and cold off your hands and keep them warm. But what I like about them too is when they're in my pack, they become gear compression. I stick stuff in those that I don't want banging around or making noise inside my pack. Okay. And 19 is my that's my med kit: ace bandage, gauze, athletic tape, hot spot stuff for your feet, Band-Aids. And I started carrying hot spot. I've never had a blister wearing tennis shoes hunting in the mountains. Never. And I was wearing boots guiding and with a buddy of mine, Don Primley, and got the worst daggone blister. And they were boots I had worn, but it was just one of those deals where you're side hilling all day. And it just kept working that same spot. And, I didn't have any of the hot spot. Luckily, Don did, and he saved my butt with that, man. So started carrying that hot spot. IBU and Tylenol can help you when you're out there. Our neck gaiters is something that I really love. Neck gaiters will keep you warm. They can be used. They can be pulled up as a face cover to camouflage your face. I like to also wear a spandaflage. I use a half-face spandaflage netting. I don't like to paint up. I'm a deep-pored son of a buck, and if I paint up my face, I won't get it out for like 3 weeks. So I never do that. I always use either a gaiter or I use.
Manano just likes to use lipstick.
Lord.
Oh my goodness.
You're a makeup guy, Manano?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're a closet makeup guy?
Oh man.
22 is my ultimate predator decoy. Again, it doesn't go in my pack. It's between my back and my pack. And
that's one thing that I've always been afraid of is like if I ever put that decoy just like the way you put it between your backpack and your bag, man, I'm afraid I'm going to lose it halfway down the trail, not even know when I lost it, man. But yours, for some reason, it stays there.
Well, it stays there because the roundness of it on the side, where you're going, especially on you, you're thin enough, man, that your hip belt that wraps around you will not let it go through.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It'll let it be behind your back, but it won't let it drop any lower, man. It ends up in a cradle right there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So, I don't want a decoy that I got to take my pack off to get to. I want to be able to reach, pull it out, deploy it, and we're in business. Otherwise, your decoy is only as good as how quick you can deploy it. All right. And I love the ultimate.
And how not transparent it is.
Right. Well, and that's one thing nice about these. They're not real transparent. It's pretty good. Stocking cap. This year was a year that I really started carrying that. And that's usually just a morning, or if you end up sleeping out at night, that stocking cap is huge out there.
Yeah.
My kill kit. I am allergic to elk blood, so I always use. Isn't that crazy, man? Most people like, what? I wear sleeve protectors, keep it off.
That way with whitetail deer.
What's that?
I'm that way with whitetail.
Are you really?
Yep.
Wow.
Make big welts come up on my arms and everything.
Absolutely, man. It's crazy. And I'll carry extra Ziploc quart bags inside my kill kit because after I get done using my knives, I don't waste a lot of time getting water and trying to clean things up. I'm pulling off my gloves. I roll that up. I put it into a Ziploc bag, zip that up. That's my trash. I put my knives in a Ziploc so it doesn't get everything in my bag all bloody, and that's all good. And then you see 25 there is, that's my toilet paper. Now,
Man pond.
I was
right there.
I was given a man pond
I'm
kit.
offended, Joe. I made you a kit. Where is it at?
Yeah, for Joe's, it said specifically for Joe's leakage.
Yeah.
Leakage.
Yeah.
So, what, did you say lickage, bro?
No, you misinterpreted, Joe. That's where your mind is at. That's not what I
Let
said.
me repeat it. It's called man pond. Just Google it.
So I want you to know my gifted man pond that Gilbert made for me that has my name on it. I still have it at the house in full condition because it
was extra large.
It was too big for me. and it's going to go into the ElkBros, you know how you have
Museum.
like archives, Hall of Fame, type thing. Yeah, it's going to go in one of those things for the archives.
You can't have it there used, Joe. We all know you used it.
It's not used, bro. Y'all have that problem, not me, man. So, one thing you don't see pictured here, you don't see my Spandaflage head net. I carry 50 feet of paracord. The contractor trash bag you don't see, the extra Ziplocs. My cell phone, all of our cell phones is a huge item we always have with us. It's your camera, it's a GPS, it's a light. It does so much for us, man. And one thing that I don't have my granola trail mix so that you can see it. And we mentioned this at the beginning of the show. That we use socks in a way that most people. I've introduced all you guys to this, right?
Yeah.
Chav and I have been doing this for years because, again, I'm a silent freak. And Luis, you might be able to. Can you demonstrate it, man, what we do with that? Do you have one? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on, Luis, and you can kind of show them. But I always carry an extra pair of socks. And, we'll use granola bars or we'll have granola and or you can even get some of those things are in plastic. And when they're in your bag, they make all kinds of noise. And so what I do is, man, you carry a lot of junk in yours. That looks like some of the bulls I've seen in New Mexico.
Yeah, that looks like a bull nut.
Hear that?
Yeah, you hear that?
Yeah.
You hear
This
that?
is where I keep my wipes. And 1/3 of this is for me, 1/3 is for Manano, and the other third is for Beto. Beto's dumps are dangerous in the woods. They create radioactive waste that kill everything around it for years.
They are dangerous, definitely.
So show us what you do with the sock with that, man.
So
Like
that
Chevrolet.
sound that you hear goes away when you just put it here.
That's a bull nut right there.
You turn it, flip it over, turn it, flip it over.
And it's tight as can be, man.
Yeah. And then you minimize that sound. It doesn't
No more
make that sound anymore.
Yeah. So
That was an aha moment for me, Joe, when you taught us that, man. That was pretty cool.
And that could be granola bars and candy bars.
Yeah.
And
what do you have in the other sock? A tent? Oh my God, man.
I was hunting by myself pigs this weekend, so I have 2 cloth cheese. I had gutting gloves, my Sharpie, my tie wraps, and all
So it
that.
became a total kit inside that one.
Yeah, this is a whole cleaning kit right here.
Yeah. So one thing that I tell people though is I like to use the extra socks that I wear so that if something happens where my feet get wet or something like that, I can then switch over and use those as well. So that's something to think about. So it's a great way to compress food or gear inside your pack so it doesn't make any noise.
Yep.
So Joe, I got two questions for you. One, what does your backpack weigh when you got all that stuff in there?
Chav, you know what? I have never weighed my pack, but I guarantee you,
it's a lot heavier than mine. It's like this.
Yeah. I guarantee you my pack's not 25 pounds. It's not 20 pounds, man. I would say that it's someplace right around 16 pounds. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the other question, will you put your list and Gilbert's on elkbros.com?
Yes, absolutely.
Academy. So
mine is all. Gilbert's gonna have to list his out so I can put on there. Mine's already ready to be put on the site there, so it'll absolutely be put on there. Now, I've only talked about my kit right there. So, what about anything different that you guys do, Luis, Manano, Chav?
Well, I'll go first. I don't have a whole lot different, but you use that flashing light, but they make these little things, which you probably gave me for Christmas. It's that you just break it in half and it lights up for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And that's something there. And then sometimes we use these, and they're just that shine in the dark. And when you're in an area where there's a lot of roads and stuff and you're in a hurry, they'll kind of help you guide the way.
Yeah. So like we had to turn into camp, right? You put them like on a tree where we had to turn into camp or something.
Yeah, we know where camp is. And then if you have anybody, and I don't think we do, anybody that snores a lot, these might come in handy.
Actually, but I don't keep them in my pack, but I do have them in camp.
Yeah, agree.
I was going to say, I start every morning with camo mask, and then as it gets hotter, I take it off, and I have my camo cap in my backpack. So that's a little bit different. And I do have 3 different Badlands backpacks. I use the heavier one in the morning because we're not sure if we're going to be out there all day long. And I take the lighter one in the afternoon. And, it is kind of inconvenient to change some of the stuff from one pack to the other. But I carry a lighter one in the afternoon than I do in the morning.
Right.
That's the only difference, I think, with some of the stuff.
Yeah. What about you guys, Luis, Manano?
I use a Pursuit. It's called Pursuit Badland. It's a medium-sized backpack, and I always carry the same, either in a high mountain or here in Texas in my tree stand. So the basics. I mean, for safety, and if I'm gonna go to the, our elk camp and we're gonna spend at least the whole day, I always make sure to have at least couple of, I don't know, sandwiches or so to spend the entire day, or even 2 days on the mountains.
Right.
So that's really important for me to have all the time, because you don't have you don't know when you're gonna have when you're gonna need that basic stuff. That's why I always carry my backpack with the basic stuff. I don't have my backpack weighs, 13, 14 pounds. It's really light.
Yeah.
It's really, really light. And I always use Luis's stuff.
Yeah, we all know it. Yeah, it's all right.
Well, one thing you miss though, Manano.
I don't. My pack. I only use elk hunting. I don't use my pack for anything. That is my elk hunting pack, and I don't use it for anything else.
Yeah.
I use a bandolier type pack if I'm deer hunting or hog hunting or something else. But I don't know. I just got my own elk hunting gear, and it's used for elk hunting. And that's all I use it for.
Well, Manano, you pack a pistol as well.
Well, that's in only in the high mountains.
Okay.
Yeah, well, here in Texas too, but I mean,
And Luis?
Breaking up. Yeah. So
that's my backpack stuff.
a few things, just in general, not my case, but
Show
you know,
your pack
obviously,
there, man. Show your pack.
yeah, mine is the Super Day, and
It's a huge, ugly backpack.
I just like the fact it has to be big enough to fit all your stuff in it, man.
That's
So,
not very big at all. It looks like a woman's purse. It's not big.
and I like it. I like the side pockets. I like the accessibility, like you said, Joe, to have those pockets on the sides. So that way you don't have to take your backpack off or ask Luis to reach the stuff in your backpack to give it to you. Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty solid pack. It's really good, and like you said, their warranty is
Pretty
pretty
heavy.
awesome. I do carry my poncho at the bottom as well, just like you do, Joe.
Yeah. So
But
show that again. So show everybody where your poncho's at.
yeah, it's right here. So it's so easy to just simply unclip these two guys right here. Now the poncho is ready to be used.
Here.
And I rigged mine that way too, Joe. I just had it all in one little gear pack.
There you go.
But I rigged mine
This one has a cool feature that you can actually open up a little base here from underneath, and you can actually rest the bottom cam of your bow on it, and then just strap it on the front, and then that way you can just carry your bow strapped on your back.
You know, that's a whole nother conversation. But man, I'm not big unless you're going from point.
Unless you're packing or something like that, and you know you're not going to use your bow anymore because, and we've had that happen to us. That when we had that bear coming at us, Manano had his bow strapped in his pack.
Yeah.
While we were hunting, kind of the same thing with the phone. You know, y'all know
the thing was, I didn't have any tag.
You all understand where
L
we're coming
tag.
from.
I didn't have any L tag.
Yeah, but you had a bear tag, and the bear was coming. Your bow was back.
And guess what? You always were like.
So anyhow, medicines
You guys
for
hear
people.
what we go through, man. This is exactly what we go through.
So if you take medicines during the day, hey, be mindful of your medicines. Don't forget your medicines at home, right? Same thing as your glasses. If you wear contacts, bring glasses as backups. Also, Joe, in your case, your hearing aids, right? I don't know if you got backups for your batteries and stuff like that, but anything that you use on a daily basis that you know you're going to need in the mountain, just be mindful.
I keep an extra pack of contact lenses in my backpack too.
Well, I always carry a little scotch or whiskey.
I didn't show it, but Big O's got to have his
you have to
flask with him.
You have
Big O's gotta have
to
his
say the truth, Beto. That's the truth. I always carry whiskey.
As long as it's legal.
Yeah.
So check the regulations and on the land that you're hunting.
I'm a lawyer, man. I can get you out of trouble.
No, you get people more in trouble than you will get them out.
No.
But another thing is, look, in our case, camera equipment, right? Now, we didn't talk about those, but, you know, Manano and I carry our GoPros. You know, our phones have been proven to film very good, but I mean, if you're going to have a small tripod that you're going to be using, setting it up, I mean, you just got to be mindful if you're going to be filming also what equipment you're going to be bringing. I know you did mention the lighter, Joe, and
The
rangefinders.
lighter, bro. The 99-cent one too.
99-cent that, you know, we show you how important your lighter was when we brought ours. Okay. So, the rangefinders, obviously.
I use my rangefinder as a binocular.
Sure.
I don't carry a binocular.
Correct. I don't carry a binocular either. Also, this is actually props to one of the very few times I'm going to give Manano props. So Manano, enjoy it while you can. So Manano gave me this idea of putting this little cord on the very top of the back with a little carabiner here at the end. So the cool thing about that is if you're going to rest and you're actually hanging your hammock, you put this around the tree like this, and then you clip it back, the carabiner back on the top of your tree, and this just stays hanging on the tree. That way you don't have to put your pack on the floor if it's wet or anything like that, if you want to keep it high ground. So this little rope with the carabiner is actually super useful, and you just kind of leave it like that on your pack. And
I just hang mine on a branch.
huh?
I just hang mine on a branch.
Yeah, that again, but it gives you the optionality. If there isn't a branch, then now you have this little rope that you can put it around.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't have a hammock, I use my backpack as a pillow.
Yeah, well, that works too, Beto. That's pretty ingenious right there, Beto.
Gilbert, you sound angry, bro. You sound angry, man. That's all I'm saying.
I think that's genius, man. That he's using his backpack as a pillow. Whew. Impressive. I wouldn't have thought of that. So you mentioned it, Joe. Handgun. I don't know. People they may not be allowed to carry handguns, but bear sprays. If they feel like bear spray, makes them feel a little safer. Keep that in mind. I like to carry. Remember, I come from 10 degrees above the equator. I get cold easy. And I like to carry a little of those hand warmers, those little things that you open up and shake up a little bit and you put in your pockets if your hands are cold. And especially when I'm hunting sitting on a tree stand. Yes, sir. There you go. Hot hands. Chavez showing it right there. Yep. And then tie wraps and Sharpies, a couple tie wraps, depending on how your tags are. If you need to, wrap it around the antlers or whatever, tie wraps are useful. 2 or 3 of those in the pack, and a Sharpie, something to write with if you need to sign or write something on your permit or your tag or anything like that is always good to carry.
Yeah, and a lot of those should be pre-signed. Guys, most of your licenses should be pre-signed ahead of time, and all you have to do is notch. So it just depends. Check your regs in your state when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Here in Texas, we got to write out the tag on the back. So that's why we always carry a Sharpie with us.
Sharpie.
Right. Okay. So let's move on to our bow setups, man. Because I think 3 of you guys pretty much have the same setup, right?
Oh, yeah.
So tell us about y'all setup.
Close. Yeah.
Well, I got a nuclear bow, a Matthews that Luis down the road copied from me. So it's a 70-pound. Don't laugh. That's the truth, Luis.
I've never had your model of bow. Never had the same model of bow as you have. Never have.
Okay.
So I think Luis has the same model bow I have.
Copy from Beto's too.
And look, the bow Luis has is special. It is Carl Gamage's bow.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that one.
Carl Gamage's helium that I gave Carl as a present, and so that bow is super special. It's the bow I shoot. I've shot mine for a very long time. I shoot a Matthews helium. It's about, right now I'm pulling about 72 pounds. When they checked it the other day at the bow shop, I shoot Easton full metal jacket arrows. I shoot 2 types of broadheads. I shoot a Muzzy Trocar, 100 grain, and then I shoot it's called a Bloodsport Reckoning, but back in the day, Terry Hartcraft built the broadhead. It was called the Hartcraft Deep Cut, and I shoot that broadhead, the Trocar, and then the Wasp Pavlon. I shoot all 3 of them, and the reason why I shoot them all, like I shoot 3 of them, is they all fly the same. They fly really good in my setup. I kill everything I shoot at with it. Blow through big animals, small animals, pigs. It does really good for me. I shoot my bow out to 80, 90 yards. I shoot a 6-pin spot hog sight. And then, I shoot a Scott release. It's called a Silverhorn. I have a Matthews spot quiver. That's a 6-arrow quiver. And when I'm elk hunting, I carry 5 broadheads and 1 judo point.
The judo point, man, I think Man, that's I think everybody should have a judo on their bow, man.
Well, you know, in New Mexico, when we're hunting, the cool thing is we're around those grouse, and man, you come up on them and they're good to eat, man.
Yes, sure.
You know, so you know, and it's great practice and good fun. So I keep that judo point in my bow, and it's good practice. Like Joe said, we're stump shooting or whatever. It's good practice. And one of the things, guys, early in the morning that I do when we first strike out is I draw my bow. In that first hour of daylight, I want to hear if I got any little creaks or moans on my bow, like Manano has on his.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, buddy. I was about to say it. You took that out of my mouth, man. Yep.
Anyway, I always break mine over to hear if I have any sound or anything goes wrong with my bow. You know, guys, for me, I bring a backup bow when I go elk hunting. It's real easy, slip, fall down, you know, cut a string down or something like that. One time we had Pat Salvo in camp with us, and his bow, like something way wrong with it, and I had to rig my bow up for him to shoot. You remember that, Joe? Mm-hmm. He was shooting 40 yards right somehow, and so I brought a bow that most of the guys in our camp can shoot. You know, I have a little bit longer draw length than most everybody, but they can get past that. So that's it, man. That's my setup to a T.
What about, well, you know, I see a lot of guys with real long stabilizers on their bow. What about you?
No, mine's real super short, man. It's a super short one. It's made by Axiom, and it's got all of the Matthews dampeners in it that they use in their risers and also on their limbs. So it really helps quiet my bow down, and then the heavy arrows that we shoot help quiet that bow down. And then I have monkey tails and cat whiskers on my bowstring.
So you're just saying on your main string,
yes, sir.
Your finger string, you have cat whiskers and monkey tails on.
Cat whiskers and monkey tails. I want my bow to be quiet.
So you want that? You don't want that drum sound at the end there, right?
Exactly.
Chav, what about yours, man?
I could go next. Well, I got a gift a couple years ago from Gilbert, and that's the helium also, right?
Yes, sir.
And I found an interesting thing the other day. I've been shooting for about a month now, and you know, I used to shoot a PSE with fingers, so and sights. I kind of got used to that. So when I got this, I started shooting it the same way, except that I have a kisser button right here. And lo and behold, last week I figured out that I had a peephole, which I never knew. So I shot it with a peephole. I got a little bit better, but you know, you had that incident happen where that peephole turned. Well, yeah. I can shoot it with a peephole or without, and it not much of a difference, maybe about an inch or two.
Sure. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
so this is a setup.
So basically, Chav's been shooting with a peep on the bow, not using it this whole
time. Not using it right.
And nailing stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, Chav, that little
bow with fingers, Chav?
What's that?
No,
I use it. No, this one I went with a release. I changed. I changed.
I was like, man, that bow was set up for a release. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I use a release. Yeah, and pretty accurate with or without the peephole, but yeah, it does make a difference.
Now, Chav, quick question for you, Chav. That little string you've got, that black string there that is tied to the peephole. Yeah, I believe that's to keep that peep from turning, right, when you draw.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the function of it. But the funny thing was, it came off. I noticed the peephole when this came off.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I said, "Oh, there's a peephole."
Yeah,
so I was able to trim it and put it back on there.
In your pack, you probably ought to get you some more tubing and keep it in your pack.
Yeah.
Right, and I use probably the same kind of quiver that Gilbert has, I think.
Yeah.
Snaps on and off, except mine's only a 5-arrow quiver. And I got the two monkey tails on the main string, but it's pretty quiet. It shoots pretty quiet. You know, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it's a quiet bow for sure.
Yeah, and this is probably, it says 70, probably maximum 70, but I probably shoot under 60 right now. That's the setup. And I think Gilbert's bow, and it's really thin limbs.
Yeah, it's
And
light.
it's really light, super light.
Yeah, and I tell you what, man, Chav's he's back out to 40 and making it happen, man. It's
Awesome.
he's doing good, really doing good. He told me, he goes, you know, I have a peep sight. I was like, yeah, I know you haven't because I set it up on there. But
That's
for
awesome,
somebody
Chav.
that's never used that shot fingers and never used a release, that was a big deal. Him going to a release, and he had never used a peep before. We've always shot, and he used to shoot fingers and just instinctive. So, you know, you give somebody a bow like that that's never experienced that, and it's foreign, some of that stuff. So yeah, I thought, and he's like, man, I use that peep sight now and everything lines up really good. So, that's the idea, man.
That'll tighten your group up.
Yeah.
Anything different with you guys, Manano, Luis?
Yeah, so my setup is better than Manano's. Everybody knows
What
it.
he says.
And so no, I shoot the VXR 28. It's 28 inches axle to axle. I got it currently set up right at.
Isn't that a crossbow, man? 28 inches.
It's pretty short. It's pretty short. And then
it's like a child's bow, man. 28.
And I got it currently right at 76 pounds.
76.
I have a drop of.
Maybe for 75.
Yeah, but when you try to tune it and you make sure that the cams are timed and all that stuff, sometimes you have to mess and turn the cables and the string a little bit. And by turning the string, it just compresses it a bit more, and it just gives it that little extra edge. So it really
lying. For God's sake, he's lying.
No, I'm teaching you. That's what I'm doing. So it's right around 76 pounds. But yeah, they're limited to 75. I got a drop away rest, and it's one of the Matthews drop away rests. I used
QAD. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that say that again?
QAD.
Mine's a QAD Pro Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah, so the QAD makes really good restaways, drop-aways, rests, and they make these for Matthew specifically, kind of for this bow.
That's right.
And then I have the release I use is a True Fire release, and the stabilizer mine is 8 inches long, and it's a Trophy Ridge stabilizer. The sight I use is also a Spot Hog. It's got 6 pins, and it's got a dovetail. It can be removed, you can take it out and put it back in. I'm super happy with that. It's an older version of the Spot Hog, and it's called the Hogget, the older version of the Hogget. And that's basically it on the bow. And then y'all know that I've geeked
Now, we don't have
out
all night to go on the arrows, bro.
on the arrows. So to keep it simple, I'm shooting the Sirius Apollo shafts. They have turned out to be great, and I'm using the A Boyer, either the 200 or the 250 grain, 2-blade single bevels, and depending on which ones I can find, because sometimes they're out of the 200 grain. With 100 grain inserts, and they're half outs. And then also I use the nocturnal nocks, and using the Q2I veins for the arrows. So
it's all like bow porn to me, man. I most of that stuff.
I have
right
no
over my
idea
head,
what
man.
he's talking about.
just like that, man. But you know,
It happens when you have people make the arrows for you, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm carrying, but I do know that I have fun in the woods and I kill elk.
So do I.
there you go, man.
And I have fun not in the woods building the arrows.
And I want to tell people too, seriously though, if you want to learn more about Luis's arrow making, his adult arrows that he's producing and working on, he did a whole piece that's on our ElkBros website. I mean, on our ElkBros YouTube channel, where you can get a lot of information. This guy just does a great job with stuff like that, and I'm glad we have people like Luis that does that, because I don't want to. So it's great to have people that do that, and he's really enlightened us with a lot of that. So I know it's changed a lot of my thinking.
He's about to make me some arrows.
Yeah.
Pray on it. Pray on it.
Anything for you, Manano? Anything different?
I carry a Matthews.
Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know what he
Vertex.
cares.
Yeah, I believe it's a Matthews Vertex. It's 27 inches. It's really small too. 70 pounds. 29 and a half draw length. I don't know. It's like 2019 model, I think. And I have to say it's really accurate, Luis. It's really accurate.
I've seen it missed a lot.
So
yeah, I have missed a few shots.
I'm not going to go a whole lot into my setup, because basically none of you guys are going to have it out there, because I shoot a Hoyt Reflex Caribou. It's probably 42 inches axle to axle. I shoot about 70 pounds. Probably
no way. That bow's got to be 100.
Probably about 270 feet per second. I couldn't tell you what my arrows weigh. I do know that I use, I have a 30-inch draw with a 350 Carbon Express that I use, and I've been using wasp tips forever, and I use the Hammer 125, the Wasp Hammer 125, and the bull I killed this year, at 60 yards.
It was made in 1985 or 1982.
What, my bow?
Your bow?
No, my bow's only 15 years old, but my bow has 15 kills on it. It has one for every year. So it's hard to get rid of something like that, man. So
I know, Joe. My bow's old by bow terms, right?
Right, sure.
It just keeps killing elk, babe. So I'm gonna keep slinging.
That's right.
And like my wife said, before I got this bow, Manano, me and Chav were out hunting, and my bow blew up on me out there. And so I'll tell you, guys, never travel in an ATV, UTV ever without having your bow in a case, man, because it doesn't take anything major. If you get mud inside your axle groove and you go to pull, it'll roll your cable right off your cam, man, and it'll blow your bow up. That's what happened to me. So I learned a lesson.
Only that, Joe, it also the bouncing of that bow. It happened to me a couple years ago. It will mess up your sight.
Yeah, I would imagine. I never had to worry. My pins never move, so I don't have to.
So, Joe, are you gonna start using the nuclear one?
Well, like I said, man, you
better rig it up, Joe. You better rig it up and get it going, man. Just join the crew.
Yeah, man.
You guys are, man. You just like peer pressure, man. Peer pressure.
Get on or get left.
I have asked you the same question 3 times. Are you gonna start using it or not?
I'm going to use it, bro.
It's like refusing to use the internet here in 2021, bro.
I don't know what I'm going to be hunting with next year, but I am going to be giving this a shot, man. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But
it's a great bow.
One thing I do differently than a lot of people is I always have moleskin or something all along my face in my shot window. it's always got moleskin in there on the shelf, so that if an arrow falls off and it taps, it doesn't make that tink noise. I put cat whiskers on every cable, so I have 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, and I might lose 3 feet per second doing that, but my bow, ask these guys, my bow is quiet, man, when I shoot. So I'm kind of a silent freak.
Enough to let you take a second shot most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When I have to, I can take one, man, and it don't take me long. It don't take. I don't have to flip up my rest, and I don't have to twist my peep sight.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to do any of that stuff.
Nobody's questioning none of that. I'm just saying it's quiet.
So that's pretty much our bow setups and what we have unique to it. A lot of that, if you guys listen to those bow setups, you basically heard, you know, Chav shoots, he'll probably be, you know, when he's usually up elk hunting, it's about 60 pounds. And with the bow that he shoots, that 60 pounds and with today's bows is a whole lot different than what it used to be. But I always try to recommend, guys, if you can get to 65, I recommend that. You don't want to overbow yourself to where you're struggling, but if you can make that jump by strengthening and shooting, then that's something I recommend. You know, we're getting close to time here. We probably have about another 15 minutes. We're going to kind of, I'm just going to hit this real quick. With our mode of travel, we're going into a base camp. So we're either using vehicles to go long ways if we move, but a lot of times we don't move our trucks when we get there. We're usually ATVs or UTVs to get to an area to then use our feet. We like to walk into areas if possible is what we're wanting to. In fact, if we can, we like to walk out of camp, man, if we can. And so I think a lot of people leave their camps with a lot of elk around them thinking they have to go someplace else. But that's how we get. And I tell you what, if I could afford an e-bike, one of those doggone e-bikes, man, I'd have one. I think that is just a great way to get out and hunt elk, man, in the hills, to be silent.
Check your regs again, because some places, some private land, those are any electric motorized vehicles are not allowed.
Yeah. Again, check on it, like in some non-motorized national forest. But where we hunt, if you can use an ATV or UTV,
yeah, you can.
Of course.
So that's not an issue as far as that.
Correct.
So that's how we travel. And as far as what we wear, you know, we each kind of remember it's going to be a layer system. We talked about our rain gear already. You know, we're using the ponchos. You know, Chav's a hat guy, and he likes to wear one hat in the morning and keep his cap, you know, for the afternoon. That's something that he likes to do. We all, not all of us use face covers, or do we? Do all you guys use face covers?
I do, yeah.
I know Gilbert.
No, I don't like face cover.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, as ugly as y'all are, it would help, man. So.
Speak for yourself, Joe.
No,
That's why I wear one, man. I wear a face cover.
I have a spandex one that I wear when we're, you know, when we're in the elk and stuff like that. I wear it. I believe in them. I turn my hat around backwards most of the time when I'm getting ready to shoot. And I wear a layered system, Joe.
Yep.
I wear a merino wool undershirt or a undershirt that wicks away much like a dry fit undershirt. I wear that, and then I wear normally a button up cotton, you know, like a cotton twill or something like that, very soft material. And then I wear a vest. I wear a Core 4 element vest. It's very quiet and it's very warm. It's got a really nice layer of fleece on the inside of it, and it's super quiet and super warm. And that's all I wear in the morning because I sweat like a madman when I go to walking, man.
Yeah.
And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You hear the Mafia already laughing because they know I want to say it, but I can't. Anyway, I sweat like crazy, man, going out of camp. And so I don't, less is more for me. I was actually underdressed this year when the snow came because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm going to get hot when I start walking. So I start out real light, and then I always have my rain gear on my poncho or inside it. And then most of the time I will put a fleece pullover hoodie either on or in my pack if I need it, right? But I like fleece. It's quiet. And then my base layer, I wear a base layer merino wool underwear, and then I wear a Nomar pair of underwear that's like a lycra, but it's like moisture wicking, and boxers. And man, they are a game changer, buddy, because you stay dry, you don't get chafed. It's amazing pair of underwear. And then my socks are the most expensive thing I got on, man. Those socks are like $30 a pair. I mean, but they're Cabela's really good socks. I've recommended them to some of our ElkBros listeners, and they've emailed me and go, "Oh my God, those socks were a game changer this year." You know, because your feet take a whipping. You know, you got all them volcanic rocks that jump up there and grab your feet while you're walking real hard through the volcanic ash. And I mean, they'll jump up and knock you down and all kinds of stuff. So you got to have good socks. You're not ever walking on flat surface, so your feet are constantly squishing in your boots. I wear I bring 3 sets of boots. I wear one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and have one as a backup because I have had my soles come off of my boots before. Right? So, and a good pair of boots too. So it can happen to any of them, but I wear a pair of boots in the morning, and then I let them rest, and I wear a pair of boots in the afternoon too.
Yeah. Right. With regards to the face cover, Joe, normally what I do like to carry is that neck gaiter.
Right.
Yeah.
And then just use it as a face cover if need be, especially when we're riding on a bike in the mornings, you know, when it gets really cold, or at night when you're coming back and it actually gets really cold and the wind hitting your face. Yeah. I really like having that neck gaiter to cover.
I actually have a fleece face mask that I keep in my mule.
Yeah.
So when
That's what I use.
I can wear that, and man, it keeps my face warm. But I tell you one thing, I don't like the neck gaiter when I'm calling elk because I can't get my tube up there, and I can't have that. So I have a face mask that pulls down, and it has a hole for your mouth, and I can actually leave that face cover on and call and do whatever I want to do with that face cover on.
Yeah, the Spandaflage helps with that too. Spandaflage, I'm able to call with it, you know, like that, and it doesn't bother me when I'm calling. But I know Manano puts a face cover over too. Chav,
I just don't like anything on my face when I'm about to draw the bow. Like one of the things I didn't mention, I have that Bomar nose button, and just, you know, I just feel like anything on my face kind of changes the anchor.
Right. That's good. Chav, anything different that you wear?
No, just socks are important. You know, even if you buy some waterproof socks, you know, it's a big deal too, especially if you're wearing tennis shoes or your Gore-Tex has worn out. You know, it's real important.
Look, not that we're sponsored by any of our boot manufacturers out there, but I wear a pair of Mindel boots, and I wear a pair of North Face boots that are very light, and a pair of Merrell boots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That are very light.
Yeah.
And sometimes at camp I will bring my Cabela's Pinnacle snake boots. So, but we're not sponsored by any boot manufacturer, but all of my boots are Gore-Tex.
Yes.
All of them.
So I wear a pair of New Balance tennis shoes. They're basically trail runners.
That is a truth.
And
that is the truth.
Yeah, and most years it was my running shoes that I had already like blown out because I didn't have to worry about tearing them up while I was elk hunting. I do have a pair of good boots that I've had for a number of years now that I wear in bad weather. So if it's snow or it's real bad mud or something like that, where I'm going to get jungle rot on my feet if I, I mean, over the years, like Chav said, we buy $16 cycling socks that are waterproof cycle socks that are comfortable, man, and they don't rub your feet wrong. You don't get blisters, and they keep your feet dry. So I've worn those with my tennis shoes as well. And
Did you wear any socks underneath those? Regular socks?
It depends, man. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. And it depends on the fit of the tennis shoe. In other words, if I'm going to wear 2 pair of socks and it's going to put pressure on my toes so that, it hurts my feet, I won't do that. So,
That's what I love about the North Face boot that I wear, the Hedgehog, is that I don't have to wear 2 pairs of socks. I can wear 1 pair of just regular hunting, good merino wool type sock, and your feet stay so comfortable in that thing because they stay dry.
Yeah, and I'm just the opposite of Gilbert, though. I mean, I wear regular Dickies, just regular socks and in my shoes, and I'll also sometimes, like what you're talking about, Luis, I'll put a pair of those those biker socks over that, and I'll take those biker socks off after I get done hiking all day, and my Dickies are dry as a bone, man. It's really nice, man. They let that come through like that. So
the boots that we've used are some boots that Manano looked into, the Salomon, and they're, man, we've used them for the last 3 years now, Manano, and we only use them for that trip, and man, they're good. Really they're comfortable and they're light, and they're pretty stable as well, and they're Gore-Tex. So yeah, I'm very happy with those. I'm actually thinking of buying another pair just to bring them as a backup.
Yeah. Well, guys, man, we're hitting time here, so we're going to save our ElkBros mailbox again. Just one of those deals. Jason Keith of Montana, Austin Dyke of Northeast Oregon. You guys are on our list. You guys are up next. Next to be able to get that.
Y'all nuts.
Y'all are nuts. So we'll get you next time. Gilbert, close us out, bro.
Yeah, guys. Hey, again, awesome content with what the ElkBros walk on the face of the earth when we're out there in the elk woods using, you got Chav, you got the Venezuelan Mafia giving you all the tidbits of what they like to use. And again, we'll get back to our ElkBros shout out or our ElkBros mailbox and our questions next week for sure. Guys, if you like what we're doing, please subscribe, rate, and review us. You got to go to Apple Podcast or iTunes to review us, and you can check out more elk hunting content at elkbros.com. And just a reminder, if any of our listeners would like their questions answered on our show, just send your question. I know we didn't get to them this week, but we will next week. Just send your questions to info@elkbros.com. Joe, myself, all the guys, if you send those questions to us, we do a real good job of sending replies back to guys that ask us questions about all kinds of different things. So we appreciate y'all doing that. We need those ratings and everything. So y'all go and definitely give us a real good rate and that 5-star review. If you like us, if you don't, be nice. We know that not everybody likes us, but you got to be nice. We want to definitely thank everybody tonight. Thank Joe and all the mafia in the house sharing. That's what we love to do, is share what we like and what we do definitely out in the elk woods. And
absolutely,
like we say here in South Louisiana at this undisclosed little parking lot that I'm in, husbands, kiss your wives. Wives, kiss your husbands. Hug your babies. Keep your broad head sharp and your powder dry. And we'll see you next week right here on Blue Collar Elk Hunting.
And y'all,
I know my bow is better than yours.
Closing out.
That's a lie.
Closing out the show tonight is our friend Tony Wintrip with his song "Big Racks and Bloody Backs." Good night, y'all. Peace.
Good night.
Nice.
Peace.
in a vicious way. The seasons come and they go away. There ain't enough room to bottle it up and put the lid on tight. People say I'm crazy and I self-destruct in September when the sun comes up. And I'm high enough and I'm strung out on a bull. So give me big racks and bloody backs somewhere deep in the mountains, Jack. It's where I think about this pain that I love. I can smoke this thing just like a drug. I'm addicted to big racks and bloody backs. I don't get much sleep when I close my eyes. Nothing but sixes with big G5s. And main beams are long and mean and pitch stained black. Nothing better than meat sacks, white turned red. Bunch of points back behind my head as I rock my head back and scream out, I'm on fire. So give me big racks and bloody backs somewhere deep in the mountains, Jack. It's where I think about this pain that I love. I can smoke this thing just like a drug. I'm addicted to big racks and bloody backs. This pain that I love, and I label myself as an elk thug. I'm addicted to big racks and bloody backs. I'm addicted to big racks and bloody backs.